Now, it's time for me to step aside and let the Clucking Money team take over. And I will tell you how deeply appreciative I am. I sit in most of their meetings, but I don't do the hard work they're doing. They're doing the deep research. I am very, very impressed by their dedication, their persistence at getting this thing together. And the speaker tonight, who apparently drew the short straw for the second time in a row, will be Eric Leland presenting Clucking Money.
I'll be joined by Nathan as well, so there's a few of us speaking tonight. Thank you for being here. Welcome back for some of you who've been here. Raise your hand if you were at the first one. Wow, look at that. Awesome. People who love Clucking Money. I love it. I love it. Okay, welcome back. Well, so most of you know, but just so in case you don't, we're a small group of Petaluma. So raise your hand if you're part of the Clucking Money team. Just raise them real high. Look around. These folks, lots of them around. We're just a small group of sort of regular Petalumans, people who don't know anything about finance, who are like, well, we know some things about finance, like we manage finances. But we're not municipal finance experts, but we know that we want to, work with Petaluma and with our community to make things, better, to understand issues. And that really, at the heart of it, is understanding the money, right? So we got together and said, let's try to figure this out. And we're like, let's have a presentation in like a month or two. And 8 months later, we had our first presentation. It takes a lot to unpack this. So thank you for being here. So it's meant to empower us all to kind of solve problems, as a community and to leverage knowledge of the budget to do so. So this is our second workshop. This is what we'll be talking about tonight. The first session, we focused heavily on where the money goes, basically the expenditures and the hard choices that come with those trade-offs. That's what we did last time. And if you haven't seen it, if you're one of those folks that haven't seen it yet, it's recorded. You can go on urbanchat.org somewhere on the website, and there's a recording, and you can find that and watch it. But today we're going to turn our attention to the other half, where the money comes from. So the revenue nest, right? So if you're here for the chicken jokes, you're also in the right room, okay? If you're not, I'm sorry. There'll be a few more. So last time we used the past budget. This time we're going to be talking using numbers from the current budget, 2026, 2027. So for anyone who was in the room last time, just keep that in mind. This is new numbers from the latest budget because that wasn't out before at our first workshop. Also, we have a Follow the Clucking Money tool, which is at followthecluckingmoney.org. Is that right? Yeah. So that's like this cool dynamic tool that we created. And when I say we, I mean Nathan. And it's like brilliant. So if you can kind of follow a lot of these topics by going to that website. All right. So before we dive in, let's just look at a couple of things we reviewed in the last meeting just to catch everybody up. So we talked about expenditures last time. I think one of the biggest learnings is we dove in deep on expenditures and had lots of charts and went deep. But essentially, this is what we learned, right? We learned that a whole bunch of money is restricted and not as much money is unrestricted. In other words, there's a certain pile of money that we can kind of use flexibly for the kinds of things that we want to do as a community, and the rest is spoken for, right? So that's the first key to understand. So of the $400 million budget in 2026, 2027, $85.4 million is actually kind of that pot that we can kind of look at and talk about how we spend it. So the core lessons included that budgets reflect community values. What do we mean by that? If we're spending money on something, it's because we value it. And if we spend a lot of money on something, it's probably because it's expensive, but also we value it, right? And so we should think about budgets that way. It's a values statement, right? It's what are we planning to spend? What are we planning to get in? So there's certain money like wastewater management and stormwater infrastructure. This is that kind of pot that's like restricted, where we need to spend money on that. We have those expenses. The revenues that come in are revenues that are earmarked that need to go to those expenses. And then there's a smaller slice of the pie where we have a bunch of money that we can choose to spend on various things, police, fire, that sort of stuff. So it's a finite pie, by the way, this smaller slice. So what we're talking about today is revenue and thinking hard about what revenue there is and how to build it up. these are some of the questions from last time. There was way more questions in this, but there's a lot of the questions aligned around these ideas. And I should say, as you're reading this, on the table are some colored cards there. Can someone hold them up? There you go. Yep, those, like those. So if you have questions, and I hope you do, write them on the cards and bring them in the back of the room. I won't be able to answer so many questions during the session. I did so last time because it was like super fun, but then I ran out of time. So sorry. This time I'm going to be more like, no, I can't answer the questions. But if it's write them down, and then we'll get those answered. And then the questions that we're showing up here, we're touching on some of these in the slides today to some degree, maybe to more of a degree, but we also have a QR code at the end where you can get some more detailed answers on these things. So if you send us the questions on these cards, we're going to read them. We really read them and try to figure out what our next sessions will be. And we also want to help answer those too. So please do ask your questions. All right, let's take a look at things. Oh yeah, the other thing that would be great to have you write on the cards, and you can do this during the game at the end if you want, where you're all kind of working together at tables, but how did you hear about this workshop, right? If you can kind of in your tables just take a tally, how did you hear about the workshop, and put it on a card and give that to us, that would be awesome. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, so let's take a look at the revenue nest. What are all the eggs in our financial basket? So we're flipping the coin, or the omelet. Anyway. Chicken jokes. Okay, but before we get into it, let's do an audience challenge on property tax revenue. So here's the question. What percentage of the $85.1 million total general fund revenue projected in our 2026-27 budget comes from property tax? So what percentage of that budget comes from property tax? What do you think? Shout it out. 0. 20%, 2%, 10%. General agreement on 10%? No? 15, 5. Okay. we're kind of all over the map there. That's where I was at. 19%. 19% of the general fund budget is property tax. When I first came to this topic, I thought it was like 75%. I basically thought the whole city was funded by property tax. All right? And that's like where I started, just to be blunt. And so you guys are much closer than me, so congratulations. It's a slow, kind of steady, significant piece of funding, but it's under 1/5 of our general fund, right? So let's keep that in mind. Another challenge, sales tax revenue. What percentage of the same budget, $85.1 million general fund revenue projected, comes from sales tax? And what we mean by sales tax is the regular old sales tax and the voter-approved Measure U. Both are sales taxes. So of all the sales tax, what percentage of the general fund revenue comes from sales tax? 10%. Okay, remember that property tax was 19%. So I heard 10%, I heard 30%, 2%, 50. Who said that? 50. How what? 15. Ooh. Wow, we're all over the place. Some of you look really embarrassed to even shout it out. Don't worry. I was really wrong too. Here we go. 36%, right? Almost double the property tax, right? And that's because we get the standard sales tax, right, which is around 16 million. And then the Measure U is, almost doubles that sales tax, so that voter-approved Measure U plus the regular sales tax adds up to a lot. Let's keep in mind it relies on sales, right? So we'll get into this more. So if you don't have good sales, we have a problem, right? Thank you for participating in that. Okay, so this is the most complicated slide you'll see. Actually, Nathan might have a more complicated slide. No, you don't? Okay. Well, this is it, all right? So lots of bars and numbers, I'm sorry. But this is how the general fund revenue breaks down. So basically these bars here, the taxes, the property tax, the sales tax, the Measure U transfer tax, that's the voter-approved Measure U, transient occupancy tax. I often say transit occupancy tax. Never do that. It has nothing to do with transit. It just slips out of my mouth, okay? Transient occupancy tax, other taxes. All of this is the real flexible stuff, right, that we can spend on things. We can choose to. These two budgets here, cost recovery and intergovernmental restricted, are like spoken for, right? They're they're either earmarked for stuff, right, and then we can't move it around, or in the case of like cost recovery, it's because the services has been rendered and we have to recover the cost, right, and we can't charge more than that, right, so we just recover the cost, so there's no net revenue. Property taxes, come from property. That's our share of the property taxes that we all pay. It's not 100% of the property tax. It's a tiny share of the property tax comes to Petaluma. Sales and use taxes we talked about, Measure U, we'll get into that more. Transient occupancy tax has to do with hotels and other transient services like that. Other taxes and earnings is a bunch of like littler things that sort of add up to 8.1 million, 2 million. Cost recovery is more like things like planning, permitting, that sort of thing, where we do a service of providing a permit, but then we have to recover the cost by giving that money back. Or half of this is actually ambulatory services, so we pay for ambulatory services so that we can cover Petaluma, right? And because of that, the services are rendered at the amount that we pay, right? So the revenues are neutral. And then intergovernmental and restricted is like grants, state and federal monies that come in that are earmarked for something very specific. You can't move them around. So the bottom line, this is the stuff that's real flexible. So if we boil it down even more, so looking at these boiled eggs, so these are really the golden eggs of the general fund: the sales tax, the property tax, and what's the third? What am I missing? What are we missing? You? Sales tax is in the first egg. Yes, we're missing a hotel. It's a vacancy joke. Okay, TOT tax. Yes, so it's a much smaller chunk than the other two, but still a sizable chunk of projected revenue, and it's an efficient source of revenue. We'll talk about that more. Doesn't mean you have to like hotels. It just is, right? It's a fact. So we can kind of deal with that. These are the golden eggs because they feed the general fund, most flexible money, largest sources of potential monies. So we kind of flash on these, and this is the kind of revenue sources that we want to kind of affect as we want to grow our base. So that's whipping through some of the revenue, but we want to dive in deep on a few of these. So Nathan's going to come up and talk us through some property tax facts.
Thanks, Eric. Can you guys hear me okay? All right, so as Eric said, we're going to take a deeper look at property tax and how it gets to the city of Petaluma. We're going to start it off with another question, which is a twist on our earlier property tax question. By what percentage did property tax rolls to the general fund increase from the budget year 2024 to the next budget year 2025-26? So a percentage amount, what's your guess? 7, 2, 2.5, 0. Answer is 3%, which is interesting because it was actually slightly below the inflation in that period, meaning that the cost of services was probably going up faster than the cost of that property tax growth in that year. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about the mechanics of how property tax actually gets to the city. It's a little geeky, but first, the County of Sonoma bills property owners in the mail 1% of their assessed value of the house. And how that value gets set turns out to be an interesting part, which we'll get to in a little bit. The owner then pays the bill, and then California does some pretty mathy stuff to divvy up the money among schools, the county, and special districts, with just under 11% coming to the city of Petaluma. And about 50% of it actually goes to schools. And you can see a more detailed breakdown of how every property tax dollar actually gets divvied up if you scan this QR code. It's also at the website we mentioned earlier. And thanks to our teammate Sharon Kirk, she spent a lot of time getting way into the weeds of how that's divvied up. Turns out it's not actually public data. She had to work with the Sonoma County assessor to figure it out, and it's very complicated. But the net result is that the city of Petaluma gets about 11% of the property tax we pay. So let's break this down into a sample property tax bill so we can kind of understand the context of how it works in Petaluma. So say someone bought a $1 million home or chicken coop in this year, 2026. House is assessed for $1 million. That results in $10,000 property tax bill to the county. And of that, 11% goes to the city of Petaluma, resulting in about $1,086. Now, an interesting bit is, say your neighbor bought a very similar home to yours in 2010 for $450,000. The home is actually worth $1 million now, but because of the structure of California, it's now assessed at $600,000, meaning their tax is $6,000, and $651 of that gets to the city of Petaluma's general fund. And that's actually very close to the median property tax bill in Petaluma of $6,200. So that's a typical homeowner. So why does the 2010 buyer's assessment barely move while the home's actual value doubled? That's right, Proposition 13. So what is Prop 13 and what did it actually do? The proposition was championed in the 1970s by a guy named Howard Jarvis. He was a retired businessman and tax lobbyist who also owned rental property in California. There was also a growing anti-tax movement nationally around that time, the same current that helped get Ronald Reagan into office a couple years later. But I digress. California voters approved Prop 13 in 1978 at a moment when inflation and housing prices were both climbing quickly and property tax bills were growing right along with them. And folks were actually legitimately concerned that they weren't going to be able to pay their property tax bills. And this was a time when the state of California actually had a significant surplus. And so people were like, yeah, let's slow down the amount that our property tax bills are going to grow. So the law capped property tax at 1% of a home's purchase price. And from then on, it can only go up 2% per year, no matter what's happening in the housing market. So that explains why those two sample property tax bills we were talking about here are quite different. Same home, worth $1 million, but because of how California structures our property taxes and Prop 13, it results in pretty different outcomes. So it's not a city of Petaluma quirk, and it's not the fault of any individual homeowner that it works this way. Every California city lives inside this exact structure. And because of this, California's effective property tax rate is quite low. It's in the lowest third of states in the country. And it partially explains why we have trouble funding schools, why California compensates with high state income taxes, and why cities like ours keep going back to sales tax measures and new shopping centers to help boost that revenue. So we can think of California's property tax as a financial tractor. It's really slow, but it almost never breaks down. It gives Petaluma a floor in bad economic times, but because its growth is artificially capped, it can't outrun rising service costs. And kind of ironically, it actually locks people in place. Because of the limited housing options and high tax bills elsewhere if you move, folks stay put, even when they would prefer to move sometimes. And ironically, this further limits housing supply and makes housing that much more unaffordable. It's kind of a tricky cycle. So keep all of this in mind as we put the whole budget together and we turn to sales tax in a bit. And so to contextualize how property tax flows into Petaluma's general fund, we have kind of a chart over time. On the left is 2013 and on the right is 2026. And we'll start with this red line is our city's general fund budget. So how does property tax revenue fit? It's $16.1 million, as we mentioned, about 20%. It's not a significant amount, though it is, well, it is significant, but it's still a minority among all the slices. And sometimes we hear comments along the lines of, I pay really high property taxes, why can't the city build a trestle, pave my road? And this property tax wrinkle is part of the issue of why things are hard for our city to afford. So now that we've looked deep into property taxes, we're going to switch gears and focus back on sales tax.
Thank you, Nathan. All right, it's the Pullman hatchery. Y'all know that, right? The sign was just restored. So super awesome. Anyway, sales tax, let's take a look at this. As we said earlier, we have the two sort of sources of sales tax. We have the sales tax that's collected by the state. So we get 1% of the sales tax collected by the state, right? So we pay the sales tax, a percent of that we get in Petaluma, right? And this is 15.8 million estimated. Standard share of sales tax collected on everyday goods. Measure U is our voter-approved sales tax, also about 1%, and it about doubles this revenue. So combined, this brings us over 30 million. As I said before, we need to keep in mind that keeping this nest full, this revenue nest full, requires sales, right? We need to have economic, strong economy. We need to fill these vacant spaces. We need to make sure our businesses are being well served. We need to make sure that businesses can start, right, and not provide undue burdens, right? And we heard a lot about that in some earlier sessions. So just keep that in mind. It's not guaranteed, right? Let's go into Measure U just a bit more. So this was approved by voters in November 2020 as a 1 cent local sales tax. So kind of lots of cool benefits. It's locally controlled, so state of California can't take it. It's our money, right? It's targeted, so it's legally unrestricted, but it's targeted to needs, right, that we have, which is our deferred infrastructure. So that's a big, deferred infrastructure is sort of like a pretty generic thing because there's a whole bunch of deferred infrastructure, but it's really important, right? Because as we keep deferring it, it gets really expensive because when things get more broken, they're worse and harder to fix, right? So it's targeted to those needs. And it's accountable too, right? There's an oversight committee that meets and reviews what's going on, asks some critical comments, so we have to keep on our toes, right? So that's important as well. Revenue isn't something that just happens to a city, and this is a great example. Like, voters took it into their own hands and said, we need more revenue because we're really behind and struggling, and we're not going to be able to get the things we want. So we got to do something about it. So this is an example of getting a large amount of money through a voter-approved measure. And so just keep that in mind. That power is in our hands if we really come together and think through how we want to get revenue for the city. Okay, so back to stacking it all up. How does this affect, how does this stack up on the revenue chart here that Nathan started to show us? So again, we have the general fund budget. You'll see that as we look at the chart, so again, this is the property tax that Nathan showed, and then this is the 1% of the state sales tax that we get, right? This is this kind of mid-blue line. And then if we add in Measure U, we have this like bump here, and that's why the revenue line kind of jumps up at that point, right? Because we get this voter-approved Measure U money, and so the budget starts to increase, and we start to close that pretty massive gap. Did we close the infrastructure gap? No, but we make a significant dent in it, and that means we're saving money by not letting it get worse. So that's important. That we're not there yet, but you have to start somewhere. So we did. So let's look at some examples of local spending and see how much money we get from different things that we all buy. Well, I don't buy, like the haircut. I haven't had a haircut in a really long time. So I got this really wrong. Anyway, so let's see what you all think. $100, let's say you go out in Petaluma and you go to the barber, you get a $100 haircut. How many dollars, whole dollar amount, does the city get from your $100? 0? 1? 2? 10. 0, 1, 2, 10? 0. Okay, a lot of people are on 0. Smart. 0, you're right. Give yourself a hand. Okay, that's great. I thought it was more, but I haven't gotten a haircut in a long time, like I said. Okay, so $0 for Petaluma. Why? Because it's a service. You guys got it right. Great job. So let's look at the next one. $100 grocery sales. This one's easier, right? 0? 2%? Depends on the groceries. Wow, some people have done their homework, huh? Right? $0, that's right. Why? Because the state tax has exempted groceries, not prepared foods, but like the core groceries, like, just the stuff you buy off like the fruits and vegetables and the boxes of things and cereal and whatnot. Food, yeah, core groceries, yeah, which I know it's kind of like what's core groceries, but yeah, basically the stuff you eat that's not prepared. Yeah, so $0 for Petaluma for your core groceries. Okay, so this one might be tricky. I'm not sure. You guys are getting pretty smart though. $100 Amazon order. What does that yield? 10. 1. 0. 2. 2. Interesting. 10. Could be. What is it? $1. Why is it $1? This is complicated. So it can depend, but let's just say you ordered from Amazon and you ordered like maybe an omelet pan from like LA, and so you the sales tax is from the origin, right? So the omelet pan comes from a county in LA, and so the sales tax goes there, right? So that $1 we don't get, right? But the Measure U, that's our money, that's destination, right? So it came here because you all live here, right? You got your omelet pan, you get $1 for Petaluma for doing that Amazon purchase. So it's pretty cool, right? Because when we pass Measure U, we're able to get some of this money from these online sales. I know I used to always complain, like everyone's shopping on Amazon and it's not helping. Well, now it kind of sort of a little bit helps us, right? A little bit. At least we don't lose it all, right? Okay, so how about it's holidays and you go to Heebie-Jeebie downtown, you're gonna buy a bunch of cool chicken stuff, like chicken hats, chicken towels. So you buy $100 worth of that. At Heebie-Jeebie. How much does that yield? 2. Wow, everyone's silent. 2. Yeah, you got it, 2. We get the $1 from Measure U, the $1 from the standard sales tax goods. So everyone should go downtown, east side, everywhere in Petaluma local, go shopping, right? For goods. Really helps us out. How about the hotel reservation? $100 hotel reservation? 10, 4, 8. 3, a couple 3s, 7. It's $10, right? Hotels are a service, so what's the deal? It's not a good. Is it standard sales tax we're getting? Nope. Is it? Yeah, it's transient occupancy tax, not transit. Okay. Yeah, so we're not getting Measure U, we're not getting standard sales tax. We are getting the transient occupancy tax. Yeah, so that doesn't mean you have to love hotels or replace all the barbershops with hotels, right? Because some of us need to cut our hair. But it does mean that we should be mindful of the kinds of revenue sources and what they do bring the city and make some choices based on that. There's trade-offs, right? All right, so what about hotels and cannabis? I wanted to dive into this a little bit more. This is a picture from the Argus Courier from 1922 of a bunch of Petalumans. They're all high. No, they're gathered for a hotel. They want to raise money for the Petaluma Hotel, right? So they all gather to do this. Cannabis was illegal back then, but the real target was alcohol back in 1922. Businesses like the Hotel Petaluma, they had to get pretty creative to stay in business. It wasn't just about renting rooms, right? People wanted to have fun, and that often included alcohol. So what did they do? They had to get creative and work around the rules by, having speakeasies, and there's tunnels under Petaluma and all kinds of weird rumors. I've never been in the tunnels, promise. They had to have these kinds of workarounds to survive. And honestly, if you look at modern California cities, they're doing something analogous today. The state has locked down property tax, as Nathan went into great detail. And because of that, cities like Petaluma and many others across California have to get creative with, if you will, your financial architecture, like how you're really getting the money in. If you can't really increase the property tax, you're looking at, using your spaces for kind of modern types of retail and services, boutique hotels, compact retail that use a small amount of space and have a great deal, like expensive sales. Cannabis, for instance, right? A little canister can cost $100, right? And it doesn't take a lot of shelf space. Sell a lot of it, right? So it doesn't mean you have to love hotels or cannabis. It just is, right? That's what makes the money. So like I said, this definitely isn't a dog and pony show to promote hotels or cannabis or barbershops or anything else. It's just saying what is. These are businesses that demonstrate a municipal revenue per square foot. So transient occupancy tax is a 10% local tax added to hotel, motel, campground, short-term vacation rental bills, right? So while the property tax is locked down by those state caps that Nathan described, 100% of the TOT provides, comes to us and provides that high yield revenue for a limited amount of space. So it's something to consider. If you spend $300 a night at Petaluma's finest luxury hotel, Petaluma gets $30. If you spend $300 dining with friends at Petaluma's finest restaurant, you'll get $6, right? So that doesn't mean you shouldn't dine. It's just what it is. And so keep that in mind. So let's put it all together. Another thing from the Argus Courier. If you get newspapers.com, you can look back at all these cool articles. That's where I pull these images from. Anyway, this is Egg Day, Petaluma, back when it wasn't Butter and Egg Day, from 1920. Okay, so same graph, general fund budget. Let's start with the property tax here, and then we layer on the sales tax, as we saw, the Measure U tax, right? So now we're already kind of up to 55 to 60-ish%, something like that, of our budget with just those three taxes. TOT, again, TOT is significant revenue per square foot, but we don't have that much of it, right? So it's a small slice, something to keep in mind. And then we have a bunch of smaller revenue sources. Some of this stuff is franchise fees. We have fees for franchise fees is when a private utility like PG&E uses our space, and then we charge a fee. Building permits, business license tax, things like that, right? Often things that we don't necessarily increase dramatically, so it's a little harder to adjust this number. Then we have the couple of the areas that we talked about before, the no net revenue layer, which is a cost recovery, and then we have the intergovernmental, so that's these last two here. So this is how it all stacks up. These are the revenue sources. Primarily, we're looking at these are the ones that we can try to expand, make bigger, make our nest more sizable. That's the labeling. I guess I should have gone there. So that's all of them labeled. So how much would it take to get us out of our infrastructure debt over the next 20 years? We asked ourselves that question because it was I just said we did this whole Measure U thing. It was a lot of work. People voted for it. Still didn't fully solve the problem, right? We still have this debt. So we did some of the math. Well, I guess I can ask, what do you think? Over the next 20 years, how much revenue per year will we have to increase in order to pay this off in 20 years? 20 million. 30 million. Okay. I didn't know either. I had no clue. It's about 10 million a year, right? Now, there's a lot of ways to look at this math, and I would love to look at it, even more deeply. But as we looked at it, we would need to make another 10 million a year to over 20 years to get rid of our infrastructure debt. So keep in mind that as we don't get rid of that debt, it's incurring more cost, right? Just by being there, right? And so it's a challenge, right? We still have work to do. So now we get to the game. We ready for the game? We are. Okay, good. So here's all the tables. A lot of tables are filled, but there's some that aren't so filled, and there's folks in the back that I really would love to participate. So if you don't mind, I see some of you kind of a little sheepish, but if you can come forward and sit at some of the tables up here, it would be awesome. There's a couple seats up here, and there's a couple seats over here by the clock on the front. It's a fun game. It's not too embarrassing.
5 to 6 people per table would be awesome. You're going to have, how many minutes?
12 minutes.
12 minutes.
So if you can come forward, and I'm going to explain the game. It's pretty easy. It's a lot of words, but don't worry about it. Last time, if you were here, you spent Limited funds on competing priorities, so it was expenses you were working on, right? That was the game, like how to spend the money. Now it's you need to raise the money. No, you can't cut services, right? We've been doing that long enough. We're trying to raise the revenues, okay? That's the point of the game. So we want better parks, paved roads. We want to get this debt out, right? The mission is to find realistic, politically viable ways to grow Petaluma's revenue. The catch is every new dollar has a trade-off. There's some problem. You're a city leader in this game, right? So you're sensitive to what people are telling you. All right, so fix the damn potholes. You need $6 million a year. That doesn't quite get us to 10 million, but it's a hell of a lot better than no million, right? So let's go for $6 million. So the community is demanding an enhanced pavement restoration and park maintenance initiative. You need $6 million in new unrestricted revenue every year without cutting safety or emergency services. At your table, this slide with a better explanation. Can you hold it up? Oh, thank you. It's that. It's in the little envelope, and it explains. There you go. Yeah, right way. It explains all the options you have in this game to raise revenues, and they come at, some you raise more revenue, but perhaps they come at more of a political cost, right? So you can raise the hotel tax, the transient or occupancy, TOT, just say TOT, Eric. Raise hotel tax from 10 to 12%, that would get you 0.6 million. You have the sales tax that you can raise another 0.25%. But maybe there's tax fatigue. I mean, we just did that, right? Like, who's going to really go for it? Utility users tax. You could add a 5% utility users tax. Again, people have tax fatigue, and we already have super high energy rates, so maybe that won't fly. Property transfer tax makes homes less affordable for first-time buyers. That's a concern. You could get 400 new infill residences per year. That would generate 1 million for the city annually. Of course, that adds more people. Some people are concerned about traffic, that sort of thing, crowds. 2 new cannabis storefronts. It's sensitive. People have opinions. Rezoning, there's oversight, there's work to do to get that done. It can make 0.1 million. Vacancy tax measure requires a 2/3 vote, complex to enforce, 0.6 million. Parcel tax measure, you could go for that, a whopping 3.5 million. Again, it's a 2/3 vote, and it's a regressive tax, so you're really hitting folks on the lower end of the income spectrum. You could go for 2 4-story hotels in town. That would generate 2.2 million annually. Might spark a debate about Napification. If you've been reading Nextdoor, that's a hot topic, Napification. Okay, that's the game. So at your table, talk amongst yourselves and figure out how you're going to get to 6 million or more. You can make more, but at least 6 million, right? Using a combination of these revenues, and be prepared to explain why that's a worthwhile trade-off as you tell us. Yes?
Can the notification tax be on 2 4-story hotels that are already built, or are you talking about building 2?
Great question. The Napification 2 4-story hotels, those are new hotels that you would agree to permit and have built. Yes?
What's an example of a parcel tax?
Can someone on the crack team explain a parcel tax?
It's actually on here.
Oh, brilliant.
I read them and I didn't know them. So, and it elaborates in writing. So parcel tax, thank you. I didn't know that either. It taxes it at the point of sale. Other cities have done this. We didn't make this stuff up. That's the transfer. Oh, what was the question? Property.
Parcel tax. Right there.
Parcel tax, annual, like a school tax, annual flat rate. So we're proposing $150 per parcel of land.
So residents, every business,
Everybody, parcel tax, yeah.
pays $150.
Yeah, so it'll be an extra $150 a year just because you own property. Yes?
What if we just measure your funds? That's sort of what
We already have the Measure U, so we need additional funds beyond that.
another sales tax measure, direct measure your funds to the road.
So we're already using like the Measure U funds through all the debate and conversation are being spent on what they're being spent on, but we need more revenue than that, no matter where we spend the Measure U, right? So Yes, one more question. Yes, the vacancy tax. Oh, right here. So vacancy tax measure is when a property has been vacant for a sufficient amount of time where there hasn't been any progress made to use it. The person owning it would be charged a tax, right, for the revenue loss essentially to the city. Yes, that would apply to current lots. So you would be charging a vacancy tax on those lots. Go for it.
All right, we're going to reconvene at 8 o'clock and pick somebody from the group who's going to present out, and we'll record your results.
Back out like you're charging this much tax for the vacant is because we're talking about one tax year for the commercial developer owner paying the tax.
And also, like, what if, like, the property owner is like, oh, I'm using this property, it's actually not vacant. So how do you enforce that? If it actually is vacant in concept versus vacant in reality.
I like the ones that work around Prop 13 because I feel like we're getting such a small amount of money from the property.
This would affect anyone buying small property.
I think the selling price we need like a is that right?
Well, it doesn't matter who pays it, it comes off. It's gonna have the economy somewhere. It's gonna affect prices one way or the other. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna increase prices.
I was very but what a wonderful way to bring TOT and sales tax money and restaurant money and support all the workers who get in, turn around and spend that money, so it's going to multiply property as opposed to that ugly vacant lot.
All right, let's gather together now. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to go through each table. This is how it's going to work. Each table got a letter starting with A, B, C, D in the middle there, E over there, F, yep, G, awesome, and H. Rock and roll.
And Larry, I in the back.
Oh, really? Gotcha. All right, so this is how it's going to work. Starting with table A, if you can please read off the revenue, so like hotel tax, and then read the number to make it easier on Eileen, who's going to write it down, right? So the tax and the number that you chose, she's going to write it down, and after you read off the things that you decided to raise revenue from, tell us why in a statement or two.
Somebody may want to also stand up and then group there. All right.
So starting with A. Who's A? Aren't you A? Yeah, awesome.
Okay, this was a piece of cake, no problem at all. So, in no particular order, we all agreed on all of these, by the way. The hotel transient occupancy tax increased of 0.6. We like that one. We like taxing other people instead of ourselves first, so we picked that right away. And we also liked the you got a marker? Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I do. I need the number, though.
0.6 million?
Okay. Thank you.
0.6, yeah. And then along that same vein, we also liked the two new 4-story hotels somewhere in town for 2.2.
Number 9.
Down at the bottom.
I was just checking.
Number 9, Eileen, number 9. We're paying attention. We got you. All the way down. No, all the way down. There you go. 2.2. 2.2 for that one. Yeah.
Thank you.
So again, we also thought it would have the added benefit of increasing tourists and shoppers to spend more money downtown, which might increase our sales tax revenue as well for the city of Petaluma.
You can leave the 1.5 there then.
No, we didn't do that one. We didn't say the sales tax. No, we didn't do that one. He's just messing with you. Don't listen.
They're all, what I hear is tax. I don't know.
Awesome.
We also like the parcel tax for 3.5%, 3.5 million, all the way down number 8, Eileen.
Thank you.
Yep. 3, I did 3.5. And we like that one. We had some discussion about the fact that a lot of the homeowners have been here for a long time and are paying a less property tax because we've lived here for a long time. So it was a way to sort of equalize out Prop 13 benefits for all of the residents that live in this city, so that the longer-term residents don't have an unfair advantage over younger people. So that was the other one. And then, is that 4? What did I miss? Infill vacancies. Infill, the 100 infill residents building new housing for $1 million. That was the 4th one.
They're going for broke.
Awesome. That's a great. Is that more? 6.1. Nicely done. Nicely done. Table A. Table A. I think you're going to get reelected. Not sure. I think so. Okay, table B.
7.3, Eric.
7.3? Yeah. Math is clucking hard, folks. 7.3.
I might need your help, so I might, if I, yeah. So we did our own taxes. So instead of a parcel tax, we did a tiered square footage tax, depending on the size of your house. A mansion tax, excuse me. So 2,500, 3,500, 4,500 square feet. And that will raise $4 million.
A mansion tax, huh?
We're fast in math. We like the infill for $1 million. We do like the parcel tax, but we would have a waiver if you're low income and or senior.
So parcel tax down there at the bottom. Number 8 for $3.5 million.
Yeah. And we do like cannabis stores. And the cannabis. And the hotel tax. So the property transfer tax is 3.5, or no, it's 4. We have a special one. It's 4. And plus 3.5.
Dang.
Yeah, and
Start at the top for me.
yes, yes on hotels.
Yes, so that's 0.6.
Yep.
Sorry. Not the TOT, the new hotels. Sorry.
The new hotels.
Yeah.
Ah,
Sorry.
okay. 2 4-story hotels.
Do I have them all? 1, 2, 3, 4.
And a supplemental $4 million.
I should have said the 2 new hotels.
Or 3.5.
The 2 new hotels are not
plus
necessarily
3.5.
downtown. They're
Yeah.
just in Petaluma.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or so
net?
do 7.5. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Making the numbers up.
7.5 million property transfer tax. Is that what that is?
No, the parcel tax.
Parcel
but
tax,
But
okay.
we would, because there's a waiver for low income and senior, then maybe pull it down to 2.5. So say.
Is that line number 4 right?
Yeah.
7.5.
Yeah, that's our interpretation of that.
Dang. I see.
So this one 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now.
As I said, we have special math. Yeah.
So you made 13.2.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good. This is our math genius.
Yeah.
13.2.
Who's next? Okay. Yeah.
All right. Lots of revenue. Not sure about your re-election chances, but we'll see. We'll see. All right. Table C. Please read the tax and the number.
So we stick with the numbers that we were provided.
Well, good. Rule abiding. I like it.
First off, we're going to start with adding 2 hotels for $2.2 million. We're going to increase the taxes, hotel tax, so another $0.6 million.
Number 1.
Number 1. We're also going to address the vacancy tax with $0.6 million.
7.6.
We think that that'll actually increase visitors, but we didn't do any funny math. We're also going to promote infill, so another $1 million, so number 5.
5 at $1 million.
Just for fun, we're going to bring more weed shops in, so another
Nice.
$0.1 million for number 6.
Nice. Super fun.
So that gets us to $4.5 million, and the remaining $1.5 we're going to add with utility tax. So some, but not all. We're going to prioritize gas because we need to get off gas, and PG&E already costs more than the other 49 states. So
Right.
we definitely don't need more when it comes to electric.
Right.
Well, that gets us to a clean $6 million.
Nice. That sounds very prudent. I like how you compromise in the utility tax. All right. Table D. Please read the tax and the number for us. You got this.
We're turning our homework in late.
Uh-oh.
I was adding everything as everyone was
all right.
speaking, as the teacher was collecting the homework. So I don't know, actually, I think we're really over. Okay. So we like what the other group said about the parcel tax with the exemptions for seniors and low-income residents, which I think is the 2.5.
I believe that's 3.5 for the parcel tax.
But it's more of a 2.5 with the exemptions.
Oh, with the exemptions. Got it. Okay.
Right. I think is what we heard, maybe.
Great.
Realistically.
Great. So you did a little compromise on that. Very
Okay. 2 4-story hotels.
Nice.
That's at 2.2. We're at 4.7. Feel like that goes hand in hand with the hotel tax at 0.6.
Great.
And I want to say our vacancy tax. Well, we don't need that much more. So I'm wondering if the vacancy. Okay, 400 new infill for $1 million. Number 5.
This group looks really easily subjected to pressure campaign by the public. Very indecisive, but good choices.
Listen, I'm trying to be democratic.
Yes. Oh,
okay?
Perfect. Yeah. That might curry some favor. 6.3. Nice. All right. Thank you, Table D. That was wonderful. Table E. Oh, we have to go. So
Working around.
for those not in the room,
Let's untangle
we're walking
ourselves.
around with a cable. And try not to trip. There's cables everywhere. All right. Table E.
First off, being new to your community, I've only been here a couple years. I can't believe how in love you are with taxes. The only thing our table could really agree to was we need to reduce impediments to development more than everything up there. That's what some of the people here said. But we did number 1 for 0.6, number 4 for 1.2, number 5.
Number 4 for 1.2.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
Number 5, 1.0.
So that's the infill.
Yeah. And number 9, 2.2.
2.2. Excellent.
But we only made it to 5 million. And if you reduce the impediments to development, we'll get there.
Yep, that's a good point. And a lot of these things follow that same track. The idea is to set the stage, right? And if you're going to increase revenues through certain business moves, over time that could increase. So it's a very valid argument. Thank you.
John, where'd you move from?
Auburn, California. I was a county administrator. I did the county budget. Totally different than the city budget.
Nice.
Totally different.
Get all the
They have
Nice.
health and welfare, which is just a loser.
Table E is seasoned experts at this. Thank you very much.
Did I make a mistake?
We got it.
No? Or is it just me?
No.
Did I screw up?
2, 3, 4. Is it 4?
Who's mathy in this room? We have a math question.
It's 5 million. It's 5 million.
It's 5, right? Okay, we're at 5. Perfect. Nice. Oh, the 6 up. Yeah, right. Okay. It's really hard. This is complicated. Okay. Let's go to table F.
Table F. Number 1, number 5.
0.6 for number 1, for 5, 1 million.
right? Number 6 at 0.1 million, number 7 at 0.6, number 8, because it's only 150 a parcel, at 3.5 million, and number 9.
So number 8 at 3.5 million parcel tax, and then number 9, 2.2.
Correct.
And what does that add up to? Matthew people? 7.4?
No, but we added.
Nicely done. And what was your argument for doing this?
We were trying to get the amount that we needed.
And more.
Excellent. I mean, it's interesting that you chose most of the options, so there's a lot of flack you might have to deal with.
Well, what we did avoid was the utility tax, the sales tax, and the property transfer tax.
Right. And did you feel that those are the most harmful or the worst?
We did.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. Very good. That was table F. Thank you very much. Do we have a table G? We do. Table G. And H. Oh yeah, we're out of chord, so someone might have to lean in. All right, table G.
We are table G. We chose number 1, raise hotel tax.
All right, so for table G, number 1,
Hotel
0.6.
tax, 0.6. What else did we do? The parcel tax, we like that because it was fairly equal. That's number 8 for 3.5 million.
Very good.
And we've also got the 2 4-story hotels because we like hotels and we like
Nice.
taxes that we aren't paying.
Nice.
Kind of.
And that's it. You got it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. 6.
We're only marginal overachievers.
Oh, the row. If you go. Six three, and then we have 6.3 million for G with just a few taxes, and then the correction on F is 8 million for all the taxes at F. 8.0 for all the taxes that F is going to inflict upon us. Great. Okay. So.
Correction for D
Yeah.
would be 7.3.
D.
Just 3, I didn't mess up anything in the middle. No.
Perfect.
We're taking pictures of each table.
Right. Yeah. Follow the Clucking Money can use some math wizards, as you can see. Thank you very much. So.
It's 6.3.
Don't do public math.
Oh, sorry. They reduced.
To 6.3. Okay. All right. Very good. I think we got our totals. So now we're going to go to table H.
Table H.
Table H. Thank you very much.
All right. We will start with the hotel tax.
Nice.
10 to 12%. That's 0.6. Theoretically, us residents aren't paying that. That's nice. We will increase the sales tax measure, so that's a 1.5 for number 2.
Nice.
Whoa, it's
Nice.
What's next? Let's throw in some cannabis storefronts. Get a little measly 0.1.
Yeah.
So what is that? Number 6.
Yep. 0.1 and number 6. Very good.
There we go. And we will do vacancy tax.
Vacancy tax for 0.6.
6.
I do feel like that for a
All right, you're getting closer.
And that's a shout out to the vacancy project. We will be there. We will be learning.
Awesome.
And then let's throw on the parcel tax measure.
Parcel tax measure for 3.5.
Round it out. What was our total number there?
So that's 5.7? Is that right? 6.3? Well, who asked me? 6.3.
Just a hair over.
All right. Did that get our tables?
Is there an I?
Look at the commonalities. We've got a lot of people into the 2 hotels. As we said, you don't have to be downtown. Parcel tax is pretty popular. Infill, pretty popular as well. And then it kind of gets mixed up from there. Only one group did extra sales tax. Oh, hotel tax. No, sales tax, number 2. Yeah. Oh, I see. Hotel tax is quite popular as well. That was like number 1 up there. Very good. Thank you all. Any learnings from this? Anything that you have questions about? We have, again, questions that you can ask us now, but just before we get to that, this is a QR code for the revenue questions you asked last time. And if you go there, we have answers, more than we went into today. And some of them we only touched on, so feel free to go there and ask your questions or get your questions answered. So your ideas and questions are definitely what shapes this series. So if you've written them on cards, thank you very much. If you haven't and want to, please do write them on cards. As a reminder, someone at your table, if you can just take one card and ask, how did people hear about it? And write that on a card and give us that as well. Please do that, just so we know. Yes?
And the comment card box is at the back. It says comment box.
At the back of the room, there is a comment box. Thank you. So you can put the card in there.
Any other questions?
Yes. Any questions that people have that they don't want to write, they want to shout out? I believe the highest grossing question is answered at this QR code. Or at least to the extent that we know it. Yes?
Does the city of Petaluma have like a sister city or a city that they have the same population that they can?
Well, yeah, because we came to the last one.
TOT revenue. Do they compare? I mean, how do we compare to other regions?
I'll let Nathan handle it.
Yeah, the question was, does City of Petaluma have a sister city similar in size to compare things like the TOT revenue? Turns out Petaluma has the lowest TOT rate in the North Bay at 10%. A lot of the others are 12 to 14% range. I think City of Santa Rosa just voted to raise theirs.
Other questions?
I got about 7 minutes.
Yeah, if there's questions. Yes?
So if we've got the lowest TOT, how does the TOT get raised? Is it a city council thing or is it a voter thing?
The question is how does the TOT tax get raised?
I believe, but don't quote me on it, that it's a ballot measure to raise it.
Oh.
Yes?
I remember when Governor, and we have the recession in 2008 issue. They pulled back funds from the cities, the redevelopment money from cities. How much of our revenue problems at city levels in general is to do with federal and state governments pushing down services for cities to handle, but keeping the revenue? They're not sending us money to do it, but they're sending us more jobs to do, like the state of California doing more Medi-Cal, like that sort of thing. Do you have any sense of that?
Anyone in the Clucking Money group have a sense of that one?
I'm not even sure we see the impacts of that yet.
Right. So what's the impact? Is there an impact to our revenue from like pulling back of state and federal monies?
Well, one definitely, the pandemic money is all gone.
Right.
That was billions pushed out.
Right.
Well, they gave us the money in the first place, and then they pulled it back.
Right.
Right. So if I'd encourage you all, as you have those really good questions, get them on a comment card, because what we did last time is we went back and we dug into your questions and tried to answer them. And then we put them up on the website. So,
I think
good question.
Something to keep in mind with revenues is that if you have revenues that come and then go, and you've spent them on, like infrastructure, like infrastructure tends to last forever, or at least you need to keep it. Like if you build a road, you're going to keep the road. You don't usually throw the road away, right? So if the revenue stops, you have a problem, right? So, in a sense, that's debt, right? That's like a forever cost. The impact of having certain monies that come and go is that we might have more debt in the terms of maintenance. Other questions?
Are you going to tell them what we're going to talk about next time? Maybe.
Do we know for sure what we're talking about next time? No. We have some ideas of what we're talking about next time, but I think a lot of us were like wanting to hear what's happening, what the questions are that are coming in today, including on the cards. And then we kind of like filter those out. And if they mirror kind of what we were thinking as well, we'll go for it. But if it's like, whoa, we need to go a different direction because of what you're all thinking, then we'll do that. So, we kind of wing it. Go for it.
And if you want to join the Clucking Money group to be part of the conversation on what to do next, yeah, we can make that happen.
Yeah.
So follow the cluckingmoney.org.
Yep, followthecluckingmoney.org. You'll get to a nifty tool and some information about us. It has a lot of this kind of detail on there where you can dive into some charts and graphs and that sort of thing. If you've forgotten everything that we've said, you can watch this. I'll probably be watching it over again, so I don't even know what I said. And we'll all learn together, right? So just keep in mind that we're all working together for, improving things in Petaluma. Many of us aren't municipal finance experts, but doesn't mean that you can know what you're doing, right? We can all know what we're doing. We can all understand municipal finance. We just take it one step at a time together. Yes?
I'm terrible at this stuff, but didn't the cost double, and the revenues double in 10 years? From 2014 to now, it was here, and now it's here, right?
I believe, I'm not sure if it exactly doubled from 2013. Yeah, the general fund did about double from 2013 to now. I think that's right, yeah. And a large part of that, of course, is Measure U, but in addition to all the other revenue streams that tend to rise as well, right? Just at a slower rate.
But we're not keeping up on the expenditure side.
Right.
That's
Right, because the expenditure...
We got, our revenues doubled and our expenditures less than more than doubled.
That's right. The infrastructure continues to cost more and more all the time. So we're always needing to increase revenue, and then you hopefully you need to increase revenue with a surplus to handle the future cost as well, right? So it's pretty intense when you really look at the numbers. Any other final thoughts?
I just want to say one thing. A city like Roanoke Park that was built out of a farm field and all kind of at once, all brand new, and compared to Petaluma, which has been here since the 1800s, has different sewer lines, different, like it's more, they don't have to spend as much money yet fixing aging infrastructure. So I think part of it is that we're a city's maturity. Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's true. Like if you have a new housing complex, let's say on the edge of town, and you're building new roads and infrastructure and so forth, for a while, there's a lot of money coming in from the revenue of the new housing. But over time, it flips, right? The tax money you're getting in and the cost of the maintenance of all those roads and stuff after 20, 30, 40 years becomes quite expensive. So it might feel good at the moment, but it's not a sustainable strategy. Did you have a comment as well, Sharon?
No, I would just want to catch somebody, and
Yeah.
I didn't catch Stephanie
Okay.
fast enough.
No worries. Great. Any final thoughts? Yes, last.
Seeing how capitalism is built into what we're doing, because we have to grow in order to pay all the costs. And is there another way, or is that just the road we're on forever?
Right.
Smart growth.
Yeah, just
Not just growth, smart growth.
Just keep in mind that when we invest in infrastructure, we tend to want to keep it for life. And so that's a lifetime cost. So it doesn't mean don't do it. It just means think about what it really is and when we want to get some of new infrastructure. Is that okay to have a lifetime cost? That's one way to look at it. So is there another way to do it? Absolutely. But that's for you all to figure out. Thank you very much for attending. Again, thank you. Thank you, Nathan, and the whole Clucking Money team.
Oh, yeah, do that. I think it doesn't, it turns out. So you don't know off the tip of your head, number one?
No, okay, so here's the real answer, is that that's required by the condition. Yeah, city has it, so they can't share it. Right. But you can know that industries, and it's like, I think it's like auto dealerships as a so but that doesn't necessarily mean the highest position in the city.
I had long municipal, but maybe it's like how so it would be outside, maybe outside. Art dealerships. Like I heard that for a while.
I don't know, because I've been curious about the volume of sales versus the cost. And I think it's quite high as we do. Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. But yeah, we were surprised too. Like, oh, I guess. Why shouldn't I mean, I tend to think we should, but that's because I think like as a business, I don't have any concern personally.
I know that doesn't seem like it's
I think maybe it's increases like businesses getting into I don't think,
yeah, I don't know, yeah. Well, we'll have to ask someone.
Yeah.
So that's